I think I was alone at Champions Girls. So we score the touchdown. Everyone's cheering. Everyone's high-fiving. And immediately there was a hush that fell over the bar because they put the camera on Zac, and Zac's put his horns up. And he wasn't rooting for the Texas Longhorns. He was saying, let's go for 2. And right when we scored, I said, let's go for 2. And Elliot's like, no, absolutely not. And the reason I wanted to go for 2 was for the exact reason I said earlier on the show, is I wanted to go out punching. It felt like we were taking control instead of letting things happen to us. It felt like, hey, if we're going to lose this game, it's going to be on us. I'm tired of letting refs or letting or all these extenuating circumstances lose the game for us. Let's go out. And of course, the play happens, and there's those penalties that didn't get called, and it ended up not going out on our own onus. But at that moment, I was good for it. Elliot, you very clearly were not wanting them to go for 2. Why was that?
I think that for me, it's all about like how you feel in the moment, and people are going to take it different ways. I think you have the momentum. You survive a first down on a play call or on a spot that nobody really knew if it was a first down or not. We all believed it was, at least at the bar. But, it could have gone either way. That was a 50-50 call. You march down the field. You get a couple penalties. And it was a pretty clinical drive, I would say. I don't know how many seconds came off the clock from we got the ball, but I would say it was about a minute. We drove down there in a minute and scored with relative ease. The defense couldn't get a stop at that point, and that was very clear. It was so effortless for the Baltimore Ravens to march down the field. My thought was, if you kick the extra point here or go for 2, no matter what really happens, they can still go down in 4 seconds and kick a field goal with Justin Tucker. And Justin Tucker winning that game on a 65-yard field goal would have killed me. But that was still in play. There was 45 seconds left. The Ravens were driving at will no matter what. My thought was, you take your momentum, you kick the extra point, pray for a stop, because you needed a stop either way. No matter what, you needed a stop. And if you get to overtime, it all comes down to a coin toss. And I'll take a 50-50 coin toss with 4 downs per set, right? And the Bengals would have won that game. The Bengals, if they got to overtime and got the ball first, would have gone down and scored a touchdown. I have no doubt in my mind. There's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of buts. I understand that. I get all that. And I understand everybody wanting to go for 2. You're on the road. You just drove down, scored a touchdown. You're going to keep the ball in Joe Burrow's hands. It's what I've personally asked for. Keep the ball in your quarterback's hands. It was just in that specific moment, I would have taken my extra point and I would have banked on a coin toss. But that's what I would have done.
I think there was a quote from Jacob. I didn't watch the video, but he's like, "I'd rather it be Joe Burrow than Mr. Washington."
Yeah,
like I'd rather put the ball in Joe Washington.
Statistically speaking,
right,
you have a 50-50 chance both ways. 2-point plays are 50-50. Coin flips 50-50. I think we all agree that if Lamar Jackson wins that coin flip, the Bengals are losing the game.
100%.
No question in anyone's mind. If the Bengals don't get the 2-point conversion, they're losing the game. You just eliminated the chance of not having the opportunity to score by going for 2. You kept the... What have we begged Zac Taylor to do for years? When the game's on the line, put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands.
Correct.
He finally does it with a chance to win in Baltimore, a game that we all know would have put our season back on track if you convert that 2-point conversion and can hold for 35 seconds and get a stop. Right. He went out swinging. He put the ball in our best players' hands. What did you say at the end of the first Ravens game, Elliot? You're paying Joe Burrow $55 million, and you're going to rely on a kicker?
100%.
You're paying Joe Burrow $55 million. You're going to rely on a quarter?
Yeah.
I'm 100% fine with going for 2. I said it in the time. It's what you had to do because of what the defense has given you so far today. You gave yourself a chance. And then we can nitpick the play call if we want. I don't think Tanner Hudson was the first read. We'll know more when we get into the All-22 and a lot of the film. Alex Cappa was in Joe Burrow's lap.
That's the point. Is like
the only receiver he could have gotten the ball to.
Right. I think that the play was never to go to Tanner Hudson. In fact, he's probably the third read.
Right.
He's probably the third
too.
And you could watch Joe Burrow's head never go left towards Jamar. But the reason that was is he saw the pressure immediately, and he's like, I got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
So Gesicki, no. All right, throw it to Tanner. So that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, and then I see people begging for the run the ball from the 2 to get the 2. What are we talking about there? That camp I don't understand at all.
No, you can't do.
If you're gonna go for 2, you put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands and hope something goes well.
If you run the ball there and they don't get it, that would have been the worst. Like you talk about play calls, like wrong play calls, and you have situations in the game, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, where you're not running the ball. But on the biggest moment of the game, you're gonna go run the ball on a 2-point try.
He had 8 carries on the first drive, and he ended with 13.
It's wild, absurd though. It would be absurd. Throwing the ball was the right call. Jamar Chase not being that go-to guy right off the rip. Again, you guys are saying that he didn't have enough time, and that's 100% true.
The only thing that he could have done for Jamar was toss it up in the back of the end zone.
But I thought before they called the timeout, Jamar had a one-on-one.
He still had a one-on-one that came out.
The same exact look both times.
I look back at it and I'm like, you drive down there, you did all you could, and all we had to do was just make that extra point and maybe have a chance. I understand that. I understand the analytics. I do, and I'm not gonna sit here and complain about either call, just because it's what I would have personally done because I'm a coward. But I like you talk about like not cashing out. Like that's essentially.
Well, I was gonna do another gambling analogy. It's like having a 16 against a 7. The dealer's showing a 7.
Yeah. You're
probably screwed either way. Might as well hit it and at least go out on your terms.
I agree. I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. I'm certainly not going to complain about the penalties on that play because if you're begging for holding calls and face masks on your 2-point try, it probably wasn't your day. The referees are abysmal and they're terrible. The NFL has yet to do anything about that and rectify it in the league for years now. They're still part-time employees, so the referees are garbage. We all know it. I'm just going to move on from it. By the way, real quick, actually, the fact that everybody else has to take accountability for being bad at their jobs, but refs are like, they get to do whatever they want. Kind of crazy to me. But
phenomenal point in the chat by some of our guys. Everyone just chalking that extra point up if you kick it, it's a tie game. Sure, Justin Tucker said the same thing. Ravens fans said the same thing when Justin Tucker walked out there at 20-21.
Reed brought that up, Jacob. Reed brought that up, and he's like, boy, I don't know what's going to happen here if Evan misses this.
I thought they were trying to draw them off sides, and I thought we had no timeouts left.
Oh.
So it left my brain that we had no timeouts left. Camera over here. Yeah. I thought we had no timeouts left. So when I see it tick down to 1, and I'm like, are we just trying to draw them off sides? Or we're going to take a 5-yard penalty, making this a 40-yard field goal attempt, PAT? And I lost it for a second. Then I realized we had a timeout, and I was like, golly. Would have just been a terrible, terrible decision.
I love that as well. We killed Zac Taylor for all the nitpicky stuff during the season. Going up there and trying to draw them off sides and then using your last timeout, which does you no good to have in your back pocket if the Ravens get the ball back anyway. Phenomenal coaching. Right. That is great stuff. Because if you get down to the 1, you run the Tanner Hudson crap again, you get a 2-point conversion.
There was one thing on that final drive that you and Nate kept saying. There's like 30 seconds left.
40 seconds left.
There's like 30 seconds left, and we're like on like the 30-yard line, 20-yard line.
No, it was. I wasn't saying. He said it then.
And they just kept going, run the ball. And I'm like, what?
No.
Did you bet on Chase Brown?
I said no. I said on like the second and short or 3rd and short inside the 10 with a timeout in 48 seconds because you wanted to kill the clock too.
No.
And I also think if you're able to advance the ball to get a little bit closer to a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, I think you could run the ball there. Yeah.
Running the ball at any point in that drive would have been
crazy.
I would have melted on that stream if the Bengals ran the ball in that drive.
Crazy. And that's where it'd be results driven, unless we got like 15 yards.
Chase Brown breaks a 30-yard touchdown.
Right, and then you're like, okay, that's
I don't
crazy,
grade results, Reed. I grade process, so I still would have hated it.
Correct. Only.
This has been a big day for me grading process because it's been a lot of process.